The building in front is the Imperial Palace, the Hofburg. It's somewhat obscured in a way because unlike Imperial palaces in other places which are surrounded by big gardens, this is almost a city centre location. Well, I'm now sitting just outside the Hofgarten, in the Palace Garden, and but from the other side it's in the town as such. Anyway, that's just an observation on my part. Others may see it a bit differently, but you've got here, they've got it obscured a bit by this restaurant cafe, very modern, and over there some work going on. Well, eventually that'll be stopped. And here we've got the Imperial Theatre, which must have been pretty handy for the emperors and the counts when they were staying here. They could nip over the road and into the theatre. Now the castle, the palace I should say, itself was built under Archduke Sigismund, and it started around 1460, and the structure then included parts of the fortifications of the Eastern City Wall. It was expanded various times over the next 250 years, and it went particularly renovated under Maria Theresa, who was the empress. That was between 1754 and 1773. So if you want to see it today, it's got 5 museum areas. It's got Maria Theresa's rooms, which come from the 18th century. It's got the Empress Elizabeth's apartment from the 19th century. It's got a furniture museum. It's got an ancestral gallery and a painting gallery. And so that does rather represent what the Habsburgs were getting up to over a period of more than 450 years. The Habsburg dynasty was a very long-lasting dynasty, and it was indeed the First World War that put an end to it. Nonetheless, there still are 2 people who claim to be the rightful Habsburg rulers. Can't quite remember what the difference is between the 2 of them, who's got the better claim, but I know there's 2 claimants. In front now there is the Swarovski Crystal World shuttle bus, which runs 4 or 5 times a day to the Swarovski factory. I went there the other day, and quite honestly it wasn't quite a done thing for me. It was all a bit above my head. It was art, but it could be, if you're into sort of modernish art, then that could be just the thing for you. And besides that, it's Congress Innsbruck, and there is the railway station, or the funicular railway. It's not yet the funicular railway, it's got to go over the bridge, and then it goes up into the mountains, and from there you connect to a couple of cable car routes, and that will take you to the top of one of the mountains up there, which is absolutely stunning. And here, turning around, we have a better view of the palace, and it gives an idea of the grandeur that it has. I'm going to say once has, but I think has. And here we can see what seems to be typical to me of Austria, or at least let's say Vienna. And now Innsbruck is the horse and carriage. One thing I'd like to say about the palace is that there are 3 palaces or monuments, so we say, which are considered to have particular architectural value in all of Austria. So that's the Schönbrunn, that is the Hof Palace, the Royal Palace in Vienna, and Schönbrunn's also in Vienna, and this one here. And looking at it, it also sort of reminds me of the palace in Madrid, although that one was slightly later in the original construction. So there we have the chapel, which was built between 1765 and 1766, in the room where the Emperor Francis I died. And what happened was that during the celebrations of the marriage of Leopold II and Maria Louisa of Spain, the Emperor, he went to the theatre for some reason on the 18th of August 1765, and then he just sort of dropped dead. Anyway, his wife, Maria Theresa, was so upset about it, she had the chapel built as a memorial to honour her husband. we see the tower. Now, maybe it doesn't look very big compared to recent buildings, but the time it was built, it was considered to be architecturally quite an achievement. And most towers are built to keep an eye not only on what's coming from outside, but also what's happening inside. And as I often repeat, medieval towns, old towns, are only as old as the last fire. And fire was the big worry for people all over, or probably all over the world, because of how easily wood burns, and in kitchens, and you've got flying sparks all over the place, particularly when it was dry. So the risk of fire was very great. So if you want to see the St. Church, you need a ticket, which you get from the Tyrolean Regional Heritage Museum. And through there, you can go to the old town, and you can see that in another photo. See here how the palace is part of the old town. So we have this entrance here that you can use. Taken in a meal, which is today asparagus soup, followed by risotto with asparagus. So the palace courtyard measures 1,300 square metres, and since the Baroque reconstruction of the palace, the courtyard's been decorated with sculptural elements such as pilaster, frames, cornices and cartouches with the Austrian striped shield in the gables of the facades. And there's also 4 entrances, 4 portals into the courtyard, 1 from each side. I think I need to point out that Innsbruck wasn't all the time in the hands of the Habsburgs, because in 1805, during the Napoleonic Wars, Tyrol was ceded to Bavaria, and the Hofburg became the residence of the Bavarian king Maximilian I. But in 1809 there was a revolt led by Andreas Hofer, and after the Battle of Bergisel, Third Battle of Bergisel, 13th of August 1809, Hofer moved into Hofburg for 2 months. So he was a rebel, and he was living where the kings were living. And after the Congress of Vienna, which put a stop to the Napoleonic Wars, or this was the settlement after the wars, I should say, Tyrol was returned to Austria. Now, when we refer to the Habsburg Emperor, we normally mean Franz Josef. Of course, he was the second of last, died during the First World War in 1916. Now, he used to come here quite often to Innsbruck, but he once came with his wife, and so he probably used this as an escape from his wife. Just giving that as a suggestion. That's the reason why his wife didn't come here. right next to the palace we've got the cathedral, so that's handy, so the emperor could go to the theatre and he could confess whatever he saw in the theatre at the church. And this is a Baroque building. It's largely from the 18th century, but it's built on the site of a Romanesque church that was here before. And it's named after Saint Jacob. So, oh, you can read what it says here. The Baroque parish church was built between 1717 and 1724 based on plans by Johann Jakob Herkomer, elevated to the state of independent parish in 1643 and to a cathedral in 1964. The church is primarily famous for the masterpiece Mary of Succor by Lucas Cranach the Elder around 1537 and the tomb of Archduke Maximilian III. And you've got the Carbondale Alps, which I'm sure you could see from the tower. Earlier I mentioned how the palace was sort of hidden by the town, and that sort of gives an idea. So as you can see, if you want to take photos inside, it's only for private use, it doesn't say anything about filming, but I'm therefore going to obey what they tell me, and as my stuff's all for public use, I won't be able to show you the tomb of the emperor or this painting, so you'll have to just sort of imagine what it looks like. This is the cathedral square, and I can say the cathedral inside, it's very light. Look at the cathedrals in many places. To be quite honest, the artwork is largely a bit above me. I don't really understand these things too much. And of course there's biblical scenes depicted on the roof and the walls. And rather than the roof, I should say maybe the ceiling and the walls. And then outstanding view of the old town.